alert Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi putting the brakes on talk of impeaching the president and upsetting some progressives in her party. In an interview with the Washington Post, Pelosi explains, quote, "I don't think we should go down that path because it divides the country and he's just not worth it." While Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tells the Washington Examiner, quote, "I happen to disagree with that take. But, you know, she's the speaker. I think we'll see." Let's bring in Katie Pavlich, editor of townhall.com. I guess we will see, Katie.
We will, yes.
But at least for now, some disagreement within their own party over how to proceed with talk of impeachment.
Well, as the Democrat Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said, look, we have 60 Democrats who have new seats in the House, not just 3. And so Nancy Pelosi has had a really tough time over the last couple of months with her new Congress being able to legislate and getting attention for their legislative gains, what they've introduced in past, because they have this distraction of the impeachment talk. She's looking at the numbers. Polling across the board shows that impeachment for the House is at the bottom when it comes to priorities, is a politically sensitive topic. And Nancy Pelosi is also looking at the new seats that she has from these Democrats and saying, look, you know, we have seats that we have to hold on to that we flipped in Florida, Michigan, Minnesota, Kansas, and Iowa. And if we're not going to legislate based on what people sent us here to do and instead act as activists like AOC, Omar, and Tlaib have done, they're going to be in trouble when it comes to 2020.
Meanwhile, for some in their party, impeachment is inevitable. This is House Budget Committee Chairman John Yarmuth, a Democrat from Kentucky, on that.
Impeachment means nothing if you don't use the power and begin the process. So to me, it's not a question of whether, it's a question of when, and probably right now is not the right time, but I think at some point it's going to be inevitable.
Well, and this is also the line that you heard from Jerry Nadler, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, saying, look, we believe that the president obstructed justice. We believe there are grounds for impeachment, but we have to find them. We have to go through the evidence, and that's why we're holding all of these hearings in the next 2 years. That's why they've issued a number of subpoenas to 80-plus entities, whether it's individuals close to President Trump or people involved in organizations that he was a part of. The Trump Foundation, the Trump Organization, of course, those are things they're looking into. So right now might not be the time, and Nancy Pelosi may be putting the brakes on it now, but let's not forget that if President Trump wins re-election in 2020, there's 4 more years of Democrats, if they keep the House, being able to go down that road. So they may be saying put the brakes on it now for political reasons going into 2020 to try and win the presidency, but I wouldn't shelve it completely.
Well, Katie, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer of Maryland seems to side with Nancy Pelosi on the issue. She's hitting back at some of those more visible freshman members of Congress for the push to impeach the president. These 3 here, obviously, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar. He said, we've got 62 Democratic members, not 3.
Well, and the bottom line here, Sandra, is that in order to impeach a president, you have to have evidence that you can present that the president did something wrong. He committed a crime. At this point, there's been no evidence presented by the special counsel of that. There's been no evidence presented through the House of that. So in order to do that, they do have to have evidence to present to the American people. And I'll give Nancy Pelosi credit. She's saying this has to be done in a bipartisan fashion. And because of the split nature of Washington, D.C. right now, it's not going to happen. But it's not going to happen because they haven't found anything they can actually put on the table in terms of saying high crimes and misdemeanors have been committed, and that is why we're moving forward with impeachment. But let's not forget either, though, that this is not a new concept. Right in 2017, after President Trump was elected, a number of House Democrats actually introduced articles of impeachment. It went nowhere. Congresswoman Tlaib is saying she's going to reintroduce those articles of impeachment in the next couple of weeks. So this is something that they've been trying to push as a narrative, and I think now that they have power in the House as a majority, Nancy Pelosi is trying to pump the brakes a little bit politically because, again, polling across the board shows that Americans don't want this to be a priority. Lots of Democrats were elected in non-far left districts that Democrats are going to want to hold on to when it comes to keeping the House in 2020.
Very interesting to watch it all play out. And Katie Pavlich, good to see you here on American News.
Good to see you, Sandra.
All right, thanks.